What's up, y'all? Lost in Seattle, and finally
Is it Lost in Seattle or Lost in Seattle 2?
Oh yeah, y'all ain't gonna see us for a while. By the time you see this story gonna be done moved on in the media, but it don't matter. We gonna speak on what we want to speak on, and they got the what they're calling the big fish, but I don't think this is the big fish.
No, we know who the big fish is.
But R. Kelly has been found guilty.
We're shocked.
But here's the thing: they found him guilty of racketeering, sex trafficking. There was no underage in his convictions. He was not convicted of being a pedophile. I'm like, how is this?
Which is the whole basis of what I thought this trial was, him being convicted as a pedophile.
The whole trial is based off of him being with underage girls, but he didn't get convicted of that.
Racketeering.
Why did he get convicted of being with underage girls? Every last one of the girls' purpose of being there, the entire case is built on these girls being underage.
But he got convicted of something totally different.
Racketeering.
Hugh Hefner.
A RICO charge, sex trafficking. That's what he got accused of.
So what Hugh Hefner was doing was not sex trafficking.
And how they got him with the sex trafficking? I hate to say it like this. I'll get to it. We'll wait. We'll get to that. This first article here, as you can see, they break it down. He was R. Kelly found guilty of all charges in racketeering and sex trafficking trial. A New York jury on Monday found R&B singer R. Kelly guilty on all charges in his trial on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Once again, whatever happened to the underage charges?
What? I didn't read all this article, but why is he being tried in New York versus Atlanta or Chicago? Isn't that where we're
gonna go deeper in this on Saturday.
Where's Sony location located? Is it located in New York?
Don't assume things. We'll get to it then.
Okay.
Whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, could face decades in prison. Kelly, 54, was accused of multiple witnesses of targeting, grooming, and exploiting young women and men for his own sexual gratification, and running a sex cult by trafficking people across state lines. He also allegedly bribed the U.S. A government worker to help him marry a late R&B singer Aaliyah when she was 15 years old. Now look, it says that he has been accused by exploiting young women. I thought it would be underage women.
Exactly.
So they let it be known they didn't get him for that.
And we're not putting this past him, but we've never heard of R. Kelly being with boys.
Yeah, we have. I have.
I haven't heard that before.
Definitely heard that. I was surprised they took that.
And another thing, why didn't Aaliyah's parents ever come out in the media about her marrying R. Kelly at the age of 15 if it wasn't consented by them?
So I'm surprised it took that long for the boys thing to come out. That was already
I didn't know that part.
That was talked about.
I never heard that before.
The jury in Brooklyn federal court began deliberations on Friday, September 24th, after hearing from 50 witnesses throughout the trial, only 5 of whom testified for the defense. Accusers testified that Kelly controlled their day-to-day lives, including when they could use the restroom, and forced them to complete sexual acts. During Monday's court session, Kelly was described as stoic and emotionless, often moving to shake his head no at some statements being made about him. He was charged with 1 count of racketeering and encompassing 14 specific acts and 8 counts of violating a Mann Act for allegedly coercing and transporting victims across state lines. Look, let me say this. I believe R. Kelly is guilty. I think we understand what he is. He's a sexual deviant. We also know that he is also a victim of being having acts forced upon him, which means he's another case of a victim turning other people into victims. But I'm shocked.
In order to get his innocence, he has to take somebody else's innocence.
But I'm shocked that they're painting R. Kelly like he has the intellect. Let's be real. The man can barely read and write. Yeah, we're supposed to believe he's the head of some empire. Come on, man. Come on, bruh. You see here, the minister who married R. Kelly and Leah described their secret wedding for the first time. So this is the minister who did it. For years,
should he be charged?
He didn't know her real age. For years, the story of R. Kelly's marriage to 15-year-old Leah Houghton was shrouded in mystery. The two denied it had taken place even after the marriage license was published by the media. But on Wednesday, during R. Kelly's federal racketeering and sex trafficking trial in Brooklyn, the minister who married the two singers on August 31st, 1994, spoke publicly for the very first time. Nathan Edmond, now 73, told the court he had never met either Kelly or Halton prior to the ceremony and had not known who they were. Listen, I know you're a minister and you don't listen to secular music, but you knew who the hell R. Kelly was. But let's stop. There's no way he didn't know who R. Kelly was in 1994. Come on, man. I didn't think it was anybody special. I didn't understand it at all, Edmonds said in his testimony, which took place over a video conference call. Edmonds spoke after being subpoenaed. He acknowledged that he did not specifically want to take the stand. According to the federal indictment against Kelly, he met Halton when she was 12 years old and had been in a sexual relationship with her when she was still 18. Prosecutors alleged that Kelly married her because he believed she was pregnant and it could keep her from testifying against him. Kelly was previously charged with bribing an official in Illinois to get a fake ID for Halton, and the marriage license falsely listed her age as 18. Edmonds said Edmond was then called to handle the ceremony. It was a quick ceremony, about 10 minutes or less, in a hotel in Chicago suburbs, Edmonds said. The only attendees were himself, Kelly, Halton, Williams, and about 3 other gentlemen who Edmond did not know. Before conducting the ceremony, Edmonds said he was asked to sign a confidentiality agreement, but he refused, saying it didn't look legally sound. I looked at it, I read it, then I kind of chuckled and said it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. Instead, he was asked to give his word that he would never speak about the ceremony, to which he agreed. He offered somewhere between $25 and $50 to officiate, but he declined the money, he said. Like, come on. Bruh, come on. He knew who R. Kelly was.
They offered him more than $25.
He was in on it. He was in on it, man. Let's be real.
More like $2,500 to $5,000.
I find it funny that R. Kelly didn't take the stand. R. Kelly didn't take the stand. To me, this is when I go into my conspiracy bag. I believe he was told, take the hit.
He'll be out in 2 years, like Bill Cosby.
I agree. I don't think he's gonna be in jail long. I think they're gonna sentence him to 20 years or whatever.
We know what this is.
In 2 years, he's gonna get out on some little agreement that was made, and he'll get out.
I'm not trying to go deep down the rabbit hole, but this is just a script.
I told you we'll do that Saturday. But if you think about it, we got to go a little bit into it now. To me, he was told, because he didn't get on the stand, and this is R. Kelly that we're saying is running some type of empire. No. Somebody else. First off, R. Kelly has connections, and he's a part of that wicked ass industry. He knows other people that do what he do. He's worked with people that do what he do. Yet he brought none of them up. Nobody got brought up. It was cut and dry R. Kelly. We ain't bringing no other. He is the head of the empire, as they said. He's the head of it, even though we know he's not. So somebody was being protected through R. Kelly, or some other people, should we say?
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah. I'm not gonna go as far as to the way what you're saying. I believe, just like Michael Jackson, R. Kelly wanted something or was owed something. He wasn't given something. He went against the grain, and now they is biting him in the ass. They're going after him because he wouldn't do something that they told him to do, or he's fighting for something that he wants. And they're like, okay, you don't want to do that, then we're gonna do like we did Bill.
He's already in the middle of the hand. There's nothing else they could want from him. They already got him. Yeah,
I'm talking about, they already got him. Somebody in the video gonna speak what I believe the conspiracy is. The video that you have.
There's another article. Jane Doe testifies she walked in on R. Kelly sexually assaulting underage Aaliyah.
She didn't report it in.
Exactly. A Jane Doe who with R. Kelly's background dancer testified Monday that the singer started sexually abusing her when she was 14 or 15 in the early 90s. The Jane Doe, who was introduced to the federal case against Kelly as Angela, also told the prosecutor that she walked in on Kelly sexually assaulting the late singer Aaliyah Halton, who died in a plane crash. We know Angela, who was the 10th accuser in the trial taking place in Brooklyn, New York, said that she and one other woman was playing a pranking game they often played while on tour when they decided to prank Kelly, whose full name is, okay, we get it. When they went to the back of the tour bus to pull the prank on Kelly, Angela, she said, slightly opened the door and saw a robber and Aaliyah in a sexual situation. Angela testified that Kelly's head was between the underage singer's legs while he was on his knees. She said she immediately closed the door behind her and never talked to Kelly about it. See, this is where hard questions got to get asked. Uncomfortable questions. So you're 14, 15. R. Kelly is sexually abusing you. Yet you're pulling pranks on him. I know. But we can't not acknowledge how this look.
You're not saying nothing wrong.
To all the people look at this, I'm not sounding crazy right now. We have to acknowledge this. We all watched Surviving R. Kelly. And everybody walked away from that series saying, some of these ain't shit either. Let's be honest. And I'm not talking about the women that accused him. No, I'm talking about their parents. We know that
That's who I'm talking to. I'm mainly talking about the parents.
I'm talking about the parents. Remember in Atlanta when the girl, that whole story popped, this how it started off, the story that started all of this, when the girl said that the parents said she was missing and that he was holding her captive, and then the girl made a video on Instagram like, no, you sent me to him, and it was proven. The parents literally sent their daughter to him to make her a star.
They just mad basically because they ain't get no checks.
He didn't pay them. How the hell, this is my point, how the hell did R. Kelly go on trial? It started because it was underage women, yet that ain't what he was convicted of. He was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking. And nobody brought up the parents of the girls who literally sold him and took bribes. They sold their kids to him, took bribes, everything. And yet they were not brought up. It's bullshit.
Which let you know they ain't have nothing to do with that. It's something else.
It's crazy. You see another one here. R. Kelly controls his accusers with strict rules that they've been revealing in disturbing detail on the witness stand. Here's some of the rules he had for them.
Was he holding them hostage because they had left at any time if they wanted to?
Apparently, no, they couldn't leave.
Okay.
R. Kelly enforced a bizarre and strict set of rules that accusers have been outlining in testimony at a federal sex crimes trial. From deciding when they could urinate to dictating their clothing choices. One accuser who lived with Kelly as a teenager kept a handwritten list of some of the singer's rules, which were presented to the jury this week. That list, taken together with testimony of some of R. Kelly's accusers and members of his entourage, demonstrates the abusive control the singer maintained over his former sex partners. Accusers told the jury that Kelly dictated when they could and couldn't leave the room, forced him to have sex with other people he was dating, had strict protocols about how they must greet him. Sounds like a pimp. I mean, that's a pimp.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago. If Kelly girlfriends didn't follow the rules, they said they were punished in ways that could range from spanking on their bare bottoms to being brutally assaulted or left in a room alone for days. The singer is on trial for a long list of allegations, including claims that he ran a criminal enterprise to recruit girls, boys, and women to be sexually and physically abused by him. Kelly has denied all of the allegations against him. Once again, he had to pay people to go recruit people. Why are they not on trial? His managers and all those people, why are they not on trial too? If he paid people to go recruit people, those people were aiding him. Yet none of them are on the books. Matter of fact, a lot of them turned informant against him.
Yeah.
But they get away scot-free. The parents, the people who worked around him, literally were a part of it, and they get away like nothing happened. He's the only bad guy in the situation. Here's some of the rules that Kelly enforced according to the accusers. Called Kelly Daddy. Two of Kelly's accusers testified that he demanded to be called Daddy, a pimp. Asked permission to do just about anything, pimp. Wear baggy clothes. Prosecutor said that Kelly made the women and the girls he was having sex with wear baggy clothes when they were in the presence of other men. Jane told the jury that time she went shopping with a close female friend of Kelly's who he was also having sex with. She testified that the friend told her she could only buy a pair of sweatpants in size large. Don't look at or speak to other men. Don't question Kelly. Put on a happy face or else. This is basic pimp stuff.
How about to say so?
Like they said, disturbing detail. This stuff is bizarre. This is basic pimp stuff.
Sounds like he wanted him to be cooperative.
Oh Lord, Travis going crazy.
Kevin Samuels is R. Kelly Kevin Samuels?
Damn. We go ahead and move on past that. Yeah. Here's the this is one another article. R. Kelly life from troubled talent to trafficking. I just found this interesting because they try to detail, all the things that happened in his life that led to this moment. I just want to start with the early parts. It says right here.
You might go through all of that?
No. In 1975, Kelly begins singing in a church. Around that time, years of sexual abuse by an adult relative begins, according to his memoir. 1979, Kelly witnesses a rape at age 12. 1983, mother moves from family from Chicago housing projects and enrolls Kelly in the prestigious Kenwood Academy.
How could she hit forward?
Hey, well, we know the stories about R. Kelly is they grew up very poor. As a matter of fact, if you talk to people around the neighborhood, they said that he was the guy in the neighborhood who smelled like pee and stuff.
Oh, he was pissy.
Yeah. So somehow he was able to get to here. His Army group, MGM, wins. So obviously they go through his life. He went on to marry Aaliyah and all this stuff. Was he not groomed?
Sounds like he was groomed.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like he was groomed.
Sounds like he was a perfect child for this wicked industry that they can use and mold into what they want it to be. He comes from a background where he was touched and molested as a child.
Yeah.
Which is what they tend to go after so they can mold you and use you the way they want to use you in the industry.
You see right here, it said 1975, Kelly began singing in church. At that church, remember in the Surviving R. Kelly documentaries, they brought up the woman's name who ran the church, or the choir, the singing coach or whatever she was. That woman has connections to the industry.
Yes, she does.
She taught and trained a bunch of very famous singers.
She's a vocal coach.
She's a vocal coach. So how did R. Kelly just so happen to be groomed by this woman who has connections to the industry?
What financial No.
She was, I think she was with the church. They weren't paying her.
I'm talking about when he got to go to that prestigious
maybe they did
academy.
Maybe it's a singing talent.
It's very interesting how some of these hood kids are selected to go to these art music academies, and they end up becoming celebrities.
Yeah, Rolling Stone, R. Kelly trial, former tour manager, physician testified against singer. This is the guy who helped him get the license to marry Aaliyah, allegedly. He said after the situation, he quit.
So he should be charged too.
Once again, why is he not charged? He admitting it.
Well, this is a plea.
He took a plea deal, obviously, but still, why would you even allow him to take a plea deal? If it's so egregious what he was doing, why no one should be allowed to take a plea deal? You either admit to it or we gonna go after you even harder. Now I'm gonna show some clips from Black News Channel. Let me tell you something. When that what's that guy's name?
Ed Buck.
When Ed Buck was on trial for killing
black men, 2 black
men, or maybe even more, who knows? Black News Channel barely talked about it. Now they, according to the progressives, the super liberals, when they speak about straight black men in our community, is that we don't care about gays and women or LGBTQ and the women. We don't. Straight black men, they don't care. Yet Black News Channel barely covered that damn story. But they put out at least almost a damn 100 videos on R. Kelly. So who's their enemy? Is it people that commit heinous crimes?
Well, they'll say they talked about R. Kelly more because he's a celebrity.
Ed Buck is a Democratic Party donator. He's in politics. He's a millionaire.
This is coverage that people would want to see.
No. Because I don't think this guy's.
I
don't think the numbers on this. I don't think the viewership on this was as big as they thought it would be. I don't think most people give a damn about this story. I mean, it's R. Kelly, so it's gonna trend and stuff. But this story didn't really. This was not OJ. This was not. What's another big story that happened?
We haven't had an OJ in a long time. Bill Cosby wasn't an OJ.
Bill Cosby was a big deal.
You think it was?
This story is not as big as Bill Cosby's. Put it like that. If you look at who's covering this and how they're covering it and how much time they're spending on it, it's not nearly as much they spent on Bill Cosby, Weinstein, all that. They spent way more time.
Well, I feel like Black News Network is the only one that's really talking about it.
No, they're definitely not the only.
The main screen, the main.
Yeah, they are too. But Black News Channel made sure they talked about this ad nauseum to a point where it's like,
Whoa.
damn, every day they kept you updated.
I really don't watch CNN and SBC, ABC, so I wouldn't know.
This case, power and a powerful man did not win.
Okay, so I want to deconstruct that for a second and begin with Black women and girls. We have a problem in the United States with any kind of sexual conviction of Black women and girls. Less than.
What about the black little boy?
Once again, when that Me Too movement thing was going on, I kept waiting and hoping and praying that the young boys in Hollywood that's being raped or sexually assaulted would be brought up. I kept waiting for the stories to come up. One story came out, the Kevin Spacey kid. The kid who accused Kevin Spacey, when he's a grown man now, barely got any traction. He came out, they put his arm around him a little bit, he disappeared. Kevin Spacey came out and said, I'm gay, and went on about his life.
Even did gave us all a nice little skit from the
And
show. It was better than the whole damn
It
season.
was better than the whole season, last season, House of Cards, I'm sorry. But the other dude came out, what's his name? Who came out and said that he was, the Hollywood is full of predators. The white guy. Corey something.
Oh, he's
Corey
from
Feynman?
Boys. He's from that show,
Boy
that
Meets
movie, Boys, The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
He's in that movie, The Lost Boys.
Yeah. So, and nothing happened. Like no one's listening to him. But, so I find it funny she once again excludes the young boys.
But it involved black women, little girls, and little boys. But she just keen in and only focusing on.
Because apparently little boys don't suffer predators.
Which they get, they don't get any attention.
And 2% of sexual crimes actually lead into a substantial conviction, and that number is halved when we talk about Black women and girls. So this definitely does bring the sexual victimization of Black women and girls onto a federal stage. As far as power, definitely powerful men have always been protected by the power of patriarchy and toxic masculinity to do the things that R. Kelly has been doing for 30 years. I really want to reiterate that this has been going on for over 3 decades. From Aaliyah. Aaliyah happened in the 90s. So I've been following this and speaking out against this in my professional spaces for over 30 years. So this definitely is a culmination of so many years of activism, so many brave survivors, so many brave journalists, people who have received death threats to have come together for this moment. And it should not have taken 30 years.
You know what I found funny is a lot of these people that have built their entire careers off of R. Kelly. Like she's the one who founded the Mute R. Kelly Foundation. This is the woman. And then you got the other woman who was going, I forgot her name, the one who has I forgot the woman's name, who was going after R. Kelly for years. And then he finally gets arrested. And he's going to prison, allegedly going to prison, possibly going to prison. And you look at these people and you go, well, what are you going to do next? Is your job now going to try to convince people not to listen to his music? Because that ain't happening.
Well, just go to the comment section.
Let's go ahead and get this out the way.
They already said
ain't nobody stopping listening to his music.
They already said that the music ain't got nothing to do with the artist. They can separate the two. They already let it be known. They already let it be known. They can separate the two. They're not muting the music. They're going to continue to listen to it.
Go ahead and move on with that. That ain't happening. So, but I wonder, is that their next thing? To convince people not to listen to his music?
They're not going to do it.
I think, and you think, if I think, I believe this is what you believe, that a lot of this has to do with the music.
Yes.
Or at least the ownership of it.
Yes.
Now, here's another video of Black News Channel, another clip, where they talked about the alleged conspiracy theories around R. Kelly. Some people saying that this has to do with ownership of his music, money. This is Sony going after him. Whenever you don't do things the way they want you to do, they release a file on you and have you destroyed through the media. Same things happened with Bill Cosby. People had allegations that that had to do with some things that he wanted to purchase, his philosophies and beliefs, and how he tried to use his power or his money, should I say? But money is power in this world. Some people believe he was, kind of scapegoated. So some people say the same thing about R. Kelly. Whatever you believe is your business. But I want y'all to hear her response to people having these theories.
And certainly all of them that testified here. I want to bring in Kenyette Barnes, who is one of the co-founders of the Mute R. Kelly movement. Kenyette, we had a conversation about a week ago with Carrie Kelly, who is R. Kelly's brother. What was remarkable about that conversation was just 2 years ago, Carrie Kelly said his brother had a problem. Carrie Kelly said his brother would have him go out and recruit young girls at his concerts, and that his brother needed help. Then more recently he said, well, no, there's this conspiracy to destroy my brother. It's clear. It's unbelievable what I'm seeing and hearing in court. Just your reaction, because and because he's not the only one who's saying these things.
I have to say it, this woman is in glee right now.
She's a witch.
Now, let me say this. You should be happy that somebody you believe is a predator has finally been taken off the streets. But there's something about her energy.
She's a witch.
That it's not really about that. Once again, he was never charged with actually doing anything to underage girls. And I believe he was doing stuff with underage girls. But they didn't charge him with it. Why is that not the biggest? Why is no one talking about that part? They couldn't prove it? What is it?
Many people who believe that R. Kelly is somehow a victim of the so-called system.
Hold on.
There's a black man that said that.
Now, hold on. These are two things that's been said right here. Now they're saying that there is no such thing as the system versus black people. He just insinuated that. Now you can separate the R. Kelly thing from that being a real thing. He just said so-called system. So now there's no system now?
Nope.
Oh, justice works now. The courts work. The government works now.
Till his black ass get locked up, then it ain't gonna be working for him.
I'm just saying, keep that energy. Next time something happens where a black man gets arrested and we think he's innocent and they find him guilty, this is the point.
The so-called justice system.
You said so-called justice. That has nothing to do with R. Kelly, that part. I'm just saying, you saying there is no system. Okay.
Right. Wow. Well, if you go on YouTube, there are videos that I allegedly got a free Tesla because they were playing R. Kelly's music. So, I have to be really careful when I hear this, and I take this with a grain of salt. However, it does have real-world consequences. There was no mass conspiracy against R. Kelly. No one conspired with Sony Records to keep whatever money that Mr. Brister alleges. I remember a professor of mine at George Washington University introduced us the concept of confirmation bias and cognitive dissonance. And basically, when you think about what cognitive dissonance is, it literally is a way to not feel the psychological pain that the truth will cause. And the truth in this case is that his godfather is a sexual predator. And that's more difficult to accept than there must be some grand conspiracy against him. So my thoughts when I hear this is that this is just cognitive dissonance gone amok on steroids. And unfortunately, Mr. Brister is going to believe what he believes, but the United States government saw differently, and they looked at the evidence. And this is why R. Kelly was found guilty.
Now, another thing I got to bring up.
She's in complete glee.
Another thing I have to bring up, and I'm not comparing the situations. Once again, do I believe R. Kelly is guilty of these things? I'm particularly with the underage girls. Yes. But they got R. Kelly for sex trafficking. And you know how they got it from him? They said that he purchased sexual acts from women, prostitution, and then took them across the border. Do you know who else they got with that?
That boxer?
Jack Johnson. They said that Jack Johnson was paying for services and was driving the women across the border. And they said it's sex trafficking. Once again, I'm not comparing Jack Johnson and R. Kelly. I'm just saying they used that law the exact same way for R. Kelly and for Jack Johnson. I'm just saying.
I'm going to say what I really want to say for the pod. They're not going to like what I have to say.
Oh, we're going to get to it. Please. Y'all not going to see this till Friday, but this Saturday, we got something coming. Now, this is R. Kelly's godson. And these are some of the conspiracies that woman was talking about. Now he's gonna say some things that clearly Travis agrees with, and I agree with him too somewhat. Where the reason why he believes R. Kelly is being targeted. This is what he believes. It's R. Kelly's godson, allegedly.
What do you have to say to the victims, to people related to the victims, to people who were R. Kelly fans and now say he is a guilty man? Why are you saying this isn't true if this is what justice has served, so to speak? Tell us your side.
Because I believe that it was all a plan from the beginning. The government knew what they was going to do, and Sony knew what they was going to do, and Sony wanted to push the narrative out to the media, to the world about him doing this so that they can keep his $1 billion that they owed him when he asked for it. And then when he went to go ask for his $1 billion, when he went to go ask for his $1 billion from the industry, then all of a sudden all these allegations came about.
Now hold on. A billion? Do I believe R. Kelly's catalog is worth $1 billion? Yes. Do I believe he was ever going to get $1 billion? No.
Hell to the no.
This is the part where I kind of go,
It's not that word. The part where I go, Michael Jackson felt the same way.
Yeah.
He owed Michael Jackson. How much money did he owe Michael Jackson?
What?
How much money did Sony owe Michael Jackson?
What?
I think it was $1 billion. It was either $500 million or it was $1 billion that Sony owed Michael Jackson. Remember, Michael Jackson said he owed half of Sony.
You gave some numbers that's a big difference. 500 million to $1 billion. Like,
okay, look it up for yourself.
Yeah,
to get the complete facts and details, because we don't like putting out misinformation on here. He knows what happens when you start putting out misinformation on YouTube.
See us for a week. That's what happened.
You get a strike. What they classify as misinformation is not necessarily misinformation.
So yeah, that's what he believed.
And then they start investing into things to destroy his name. If you Google search his name, you see all these bad things.
Let me say this.
The internet definitely does influence how you view people.
Since we started doing YouTube, I've been trying to figure out, because earlier on, our videos got so much traction so quickly. And it's not about the views, people. It's the interaction with your videos. You know, when you scroll down your timeline or recommendations or whatever, each video you see, they get a hit. Not a view, they get a hit for somebody saw your video exist. YouTube can control how many people even see that your video exists. You can have 10,000, you can have 100,000 subscribers, and YouTube will send your video out when you upload and YouTube will send your video out to 1,000 people. So you looking at your subscriber numbers, like, why? Because YouTube can decide based off your content if they want your subscriber. We're not talking about random people. They can decide if they want your subscribers to see your video. The same thing happened with Google. Google can paint you a certain way based off the first, and nobody clicks through 10 pages on Google. If it's not on the first page, people are researching, people just re-look up something. Nobody goes to page 2, 3, 4, 5, especially not past page 3. So if in 3 pages, I can paint your entire life narrative on Google, the most popular search engine. I can paint an entire narrative about you within 3 pages of search items. So I kind of agree with him on that. If you look your name up, especially the celebrities, some of them look their name up, they see nothing but negative stuff. And you be like, damn, why am I seeing this story from 5 years ago on the first page? Because there's a certain narrative they want attached to that person. Hell, I'm pretty sure right now, if I look up Chris Brown, within the first 4 pages, something about Rihanna will come up. I'm pretty sure. So that stuff will follow you.
Let me ask you, did you watch Surviving R. Kelly, the document? Have you seen it? I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yes, I saw it.
Do you know personally any of the victims that appeared there, any of the people who had relationships with him that have spoke out and said, look, this is what happened? Do you know them personally? Can you tell us anything different from what these accounts, the picture these accounts paint?
I know a few of them I don't. Heck, a few of them he don't even know. Some of them just came out and just said they knew him. And he didn't even know them.
When's the last time you spoke to?
So yeah, that's pretty much enough on his testimony or should I say his opinion on the situation. Like I said, do I believe R. Kelly is guilty of? Yes. I'm mad that he didn't actually get found guilty of what he's actually guilty of. The underage girls and boys. That's the actual crime. The other stuff is just, all right. So how long do you think he actually gonna get?
They gonna say like 8 or 9 years, but he only gonna serve 2.
Nah, I think they're gonna say something like 25, 30 years. And then he'll end up doing like 8 or 9.
I don't believe so.
And when he
You
get out,
might be right on the 25.
They did too much of this. They did too much stuff to only give him 5 to 8 years. People be like, what the hell? So I think they're going to give him at least 25, 30 years and he'll serve 9, 10 years. That's what I believe. But once again, he did not actually convicted of what he's actually guilty of. The real crime was against those young kids. But they didn't find him guilty of that, so it's whatever. But anyway, man, we'll speak on this further in our episode on Saturday. Y'all be able to see this video probably on Friday. So yeah. But anyway, man, y'all be safe. All praise to the Most High and peace, man.